Let's start with a simple truth. When someone does us a favor, we often feel compelled to return it. This is the reciprocity rule in action, a powerful social force that shapes our decisions, often without us realizing it. Companies like Amway have harnessed this rule to boost sales, using clever tactics like the bug device, which leaves customers feeling obligated to buy after sampling products. Reports from distributors describe unprecedented excitement in sales increases, all thanks to this subtle psychological nudge. Even the most seasoned salespeople are sometimes surprised by how effective reciprocity can be. But why does this rule work so well? And how does it influence us beyond the world of business? Reciprocity isn't just about buying and selling. It also governs our personal interactions, shaping how we respond to kindness, even in life or death situations. Consider the story of a German soldier in World War I, whose mission was to capture an enemy. When his captive offered him bread, the simple act of sharing changed everything. The German soldier, moved by this unexpected gift, couldn't complete his mission and returned empty-handed. This story shows that the urge to reciprocate is deeply rooted in our psychology, affecting our choices in profound ways, sometimes even overriding duty or self-interest. But reciprocity can also be a trap, especially when favors are uninvited. The rule doesn't require us to ask for a favor, to feel indebted. Just receiving one is enough. Charities know this well. When they send unsolicited gifts like address labels, donation rates nearly double. The obligation to repay is so strong that even unwanted gifts can trigger a sense of debt. This social pressure is so ingrained that French anthropologist Marcel Mauss described it as an obligation to give, receive, and repay. The real danger is that we lose control over whom we owe, making us vulnerable to manipulation. Turning down a favor can feel awkward, even when we don't want it. In the famous Reagan study, participants doubled their raffle ticket purchases after receiving a Coke they hadn't asked for. The favor was small, but the sense of indebtedness was real. The Hare Krishna Society mastered this technique, handing out flowers to strangers in airports. Even when people tried to refuse, the Krishnas insisted the flower was a gift, creating visible discomfort and often resulting in a donation. The unwanted flower, often discarded immediately, still did its job, triggering the reciprocity rule and extracting a contribution. Reciprocity is supposed to promote fairness, but it can easily be exploited for unequal exchanges. A small favor can lead to a much larger return. In the Reagan study, a 10-cent Coke often resulted in the purchase of 50 cents worth of raffle tickets, a 500% return. Sometimes, the psychological discomfort of owing someone is so great that we overcompensate, giving back more than we received. Social stigma also plays a role. No one wants to be labeled a moocher. This combination of internal discomfort and external pressure can lead us to agree to deals that aren't in our best interest. There's another subtler way reciprocity works, through concessions. If someone makes a concession to us, we feel compelled to make one in return. This is the logic behind the rejection then retreat technique. For example, when a Boy Scout asked the author to buy expensive tickets and, after being refused, offered cheaper chocolate bars, the author bought the bars even though he didn't want them. The smaller request felt like a concession, and social norms pushed him to reciprocate. This technique is powerful because it combines the reciprocity rule with the principle of contrast, making the second request seem even more reasonable. This tactic isn't just for selling candy bars. In experiments, researchers found that asking for a large favor first, like mentoring a juvenile delinquent for 2 years, made people much more likely to agree to a smaller favor, such as chaperoning a zoo trip. The success rate tripled. Negotiators use this all the time, starting with extreme demands and then retreating to what they really want. The trick is not to make the first request so outrageous that it seems insincere. When done skillfully, the rejection then retreat technique can be a reliable way to get compliance, whether in business, charity, or everyday life. The rejection then retreat technique shows up everywhere, from TV producers negotiating with censors to door-to-door salespeople seeking referrals after a failed sale. Sometimes, the real goal isn't the first request at all, but the second, more reasonable one. By making the second request seem like a concession, people feel obligated to reciprocate. This method is so effective because it leverages both the reciprocity rule and the contrast principle, making the final request look smaller and more acceptable. It's a reminder that our decisions are often shaped by subtle social forces, not just logic or preference. So, what can we learn from all this? The reciprocity rule is a double-edged sword. It helps build cooperation and trust, but it can also be used to manipulate us into decisions we wouldn't otherwise make. Whether it's a free sample, an unsolicited gift, or a strategic concession, being aware of these tactics can help us make more conscious choices. Next time you receive an unexpected favor, pause and consider. Is your sense of obligation genuine, or is it being used to influence you? Understanding the power of reciprocity is the first step toward regaining control over your decisions.